then at your mouth with your blah blah blah. Zip your lip like a padlock and meet me in the back with the jack of the jukebox. I don't care where you live at, just turn around.
What's up guys, and welcome to Erin Rambles. I have decided that I will be posting these videos once a week. I would try to get 2 out like I did with my review videos, but I'm starting college again soon. Oh, I know, I'm starting college again soon, and I don't think I'd be able to get 2 videos out a week while working. So yeah, I'm gonna post. Hopefully these videos will come out every Friday. It depends on how my college schedule ends up being. But if there's any change, I'll let you know. I'm not going to just suddenly disappear without anyone knowing. But yeah, I'm going to do these once a week. The response to my lack of conversation video is actually overwhelmingly good. And that really has encouraged me to do more of these videos where I talk about things that I find like issues with, and not necessarily things that are Shadowhunters related. They could be fandom related, or even not even fandom related, just anything at all. It makes me feel like I can talk more in this channel about things that aren't exactly related to Shadowhunters or even fandom sometimes. So yeah, thank you for the amazing response to lack of conversation in online fandom. If you haven't seen it, it's in the Erin Rambles playlist. And I can't wait to make more of these videos, so let's go! What I want to talk about today is an issue that I have had again with fandom, because there's a lot of issues I've had with fandom over the years, mostly online fandom, because I've accumulated a lot of just hatred for particular things that go on in fandom over the years, and I never really made videos about these kinds of things until recently. So I've accumulated a lot of issues that I could probably make videos about. So what I want to talk about today is telling people whether they are or not a fan of something. What I mean by this? Well, there is a trend that I have noticed anywhere, no matter what fandom it is, anywhere. I would most likely say that this is in nearly every single fandom there is. People will tell you whether you are or not a fan of something depending on the criteria of where you came into the fandom, what made you part of the fandom, when were you part of the fandom, when did you start, when did you read the book, or when did you watch the movie, or who is it that you like, who is it that you don't like, who is it that you support, who is it that you don't support. And then if your view, or when you came into the fandom, doesn't match them, then they'll tell you you're not a fan. And this was something that I encountered, first of all, in the Hunger Games, because I was a big fan of the Hunger Games from 2012 to 2015, and I didn't read the books until 2012, and I wasn't interested in it until 2012. I saw the movie advertised on the TV, and I wasn't bothered. I was just like, yeah, just another movie. But then my friend said that she was reading the books in school, and I thought, well, I'm looking for something to read, I might as well read them too. So I did read the books before I watched the movies, but I didn't read them when the books came out in 2008. And for a lot of people, this was enough to say that you're not a true fan. This is the #1 issue. People will measure up when you came in. When did you join? Did you join when the movie was coming out, or did you join when the books were out? Because if you joined when the movie came out, you're not a real fan. You just came in because the movies are easier to watch, and you wouldn't have known about the books if the movie hadn't come out at all. So you're not a real fan. The real fans are the ones who were there since 2008. They're the ones who are the true fans. What does true fan even mean? Do you get some sort of medal saying I'm a true fan of the Hunger Games? I don't understand it. There's no competition here. Like, it's like there's some sort of fandom games. It's like the Hunger Games, but for fandoms, where everyone's just rabidly fighting for the title of true fan. And it's ridiculous, really. Anyone will tell you that in the period of time that I was obsessed with the Hunger Games, there was nothing else I would talk about. I knew everything. The fact that I didn't come in 2008 did not hinder the fact that I became as obsessed as a person could possibly be with something. But then that also dictates the argument, is obsession really good? And no, it's not. I will be making a video on this. Obsession is not good when it comes to fandom, because it can actually be very unhealthy, and I actually probably will make a video detailing my experience with being a fan of the Hunger Games, because it's definitely an interesting tale for sure. But my point is, people feel like they have the right to tell you you're not a fan because you came in at the wrong time. You weren't there from the start. I found an excellent quote on the internet. It was like on Tumblr or something, and it said, "Being a fan is not about being there from the start. It's about willing to be there until the end." And I agree with this quote very much to a particular extent. I agree with it unless something really, really bad happens to the fandom. Unless something really, really bad. Like, it'd have to be something like someone was exposed as a murderer or a pedophile or something like that, and you couldn't support it anymore. That kind of thing. That's the only thing that would make me not agree with that quote. But besides that, I really do agree with it. I personally, as someone who still enjoys the Hunger Games, would not care if you only watch the movies and you only watched them last year. You enjoy it. If you enjoy it, then you enjoy it. You can't tell someone that they don't enjoy something or that they're not a fan of something, because you can't dictate what they like and what they don't like, if I'm making sense here. You just don't. Another example would be Doctor Who. I talked about Doctor Who in my last video. I talked about how a woman has been hired to be the 13th Doctor, and I don't agree with it, and how a lot of people would take this as you were never a true fan. So, the Doctor Who debate, especially when it comes to being told whether you are or aren't a fan, is actually something that I've encountered a lot. And I've actually encountered it a lot because of my age. I know, weird, right? Your age? What? I'm 19. 16 years of my life has been taken up with Doctor Who. And the only reason that there's a 4-year gap where I wasn't watching Doctor Who, it was only because I was too young. That's it. I started watching Doctor Who when I was 4 years old, and I have not stopped since. And the reason that people would think that my age makes me less qualified to comment on these kind of issues regarding Doctor Who is because they would say, I don't understand, because I haven't watched the classic era. I didn't think to explain, so I'm putting this in. You could probably tell that this is recorded a bit differently from the rest, but I didn't think to put this in, so I'm going to do it now. I want to explain the whole Doctor Who thing, because I realise that not everyone's going to understand what I'm talking about. Doctor Who started in 1963, yes, and it spanned from 1963 to 1997, I think, and this is considered the classic era. And then, after 1997, there was a break, and then it was rebooted in 2005, and this is considered the new Who. This is the newer stuff, the modern Doctor Who. So there's the classic era, which is 1963 to 1997, and then the reboot, which is 2005 to now. So I didn't think to explain that before I started talking about it, so there it is, just so you know. I am apparently one of the wannabe fans who comes in when the reboot happened in 2005 who doesn't know a single thing about the classic era and doesn't know a thing about what Doctor Who truly is. And I love proving these people wrong. I'm not gonna lie. I do get a bit of a kick out of informing these people that I've been watching Doctor Who before the reboot even started. Because my dad was a fan of the show, and he has all of them now. He nearly had all of them when I was a kid. He has all of the classic era. Me and my sister used to watch it all the time. Even when we didn't really understand what was happening, we still watched it. I got the pleasure of telling, well, my dad told me I was a bit in fandom shock. My dad had the pleasure of telling Sylvester McCoy, the man who was the Doctor between the 80s, I think it was, in the 80s, my dad had the pleasure of telling him when we met him at a Comic-Con that he was my first Doctor. And he was confused. He was like, what? And he was like, how does that work? Because I'm so young. And my dad was like, she's been watching it since she was a child. His Remembrance of the Daleks is one of my favourite episodes, and it's one of Sylvester McCoy's stories. My favourite companion is Ace. She's from Sylvester McCoy's era as well. But the fact that people feel like they have the right to tell you that you're not a true fan just because of your age, it doesn't make sense. I used to get, pleasure, as I said, out of telling people that Actually, no, I've been there since the classic era. I'm one of the sophisticated ones who've been there watching all the classic era as well. I'm like you guys. Now I still enjoy like putting people in their place when they tell me that my age means that I don't really know what I'm talking about, but honestly, in the grand scheme of things, if I had been someone who just came in when the reboot happened in 2005, why does that matter? Why does this matter as something that should be determined when it comes to whether your fan status? It seems that people have a fan status now, you know what I mean? Like, people are getting like rated on their level of fandom or their level of obsession. It's a competition, as I said, it's turning into the fandom games. Everyone is pitting each other against one another to see who's the ultimate fan. And why? Fandoms is supposed to be about enjoying yourself. It shouldn't be matter about your age, when you came in, what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy about it. People are starting to feel like they have the right to tell you whether you who makes your own decisions in life, whether you are a fan of something or not. And it's just baffling. It's absolutely baffling. It's... why? You can't tell me what I like, what I'm a fan of, whether I have only watched the movie or only read the books. Does it matter? No, it doesn't. Anyone who watches this channel, you may or may not, because I only mentioned it in a couple of videos, but I'm a big fan of anime. I love Attack on Titan, Black Butler, Tokyo Ghoul, Angel Beats. There's a lot of anime that I would watch. Yuri on Ice. It's another big one, Yuri on Ice. I am a big fan of anime, but I don't have the time to read the mangas. I'm trying. I'm in the middle of reading the Black Butler mangas, but there's a lot of volumes, and it's very time consuming, and it's also very expensive. Most of the stuff I have to I read online. And the reason that I'm mentioning this is because I would normally be the sort of person who would read a book before I watch a movie, or I'd like to read a book before I watch a movie, or watching a movie or TV show would inspire me to read a book. But then still, on the other side of things, I don't have time to read mangas. I don't have time to read all the mangas of the animes that I've watched at once. One thing, I can't afford it. Another thing is I don't have the time. I'm working on it, but it takes a while. And some people, again, would say, oh, all those wannabe fans who only watch the anime and don't read the mangas, they're the wannabes. They're not the real fans. And it's just like, what? What? I like to call it book reader syndrome. Book reader syndrome is something I used to have. Book reader syndrome is where people become above themselves and snotty and pretentious and prestigious about themselves because they know that they've read the books and they're not like the people who watch the movies. They are higher up. They are better than everyone else because they read. They're intellectual. They're intelligent. They read. No. That's not how it works. There are benefits to reading. You get a wider vocabulary, you get information from the book that you probably wouldn't get in the movie and the TV show, and you do get a particular kind of way of... People who read what I'm saying are usually better at things like English and stuff like that. Not all the time, but a good deal of the time. But it doesn't make you better than anyone else. Watching a movie for some people is the only option. Some people can't concentrate on a book. Some people just don't enjoy reading, and that's not something they should be put down for. And I think it's our teachers' fault. Our teachers, no, I'm not saying it's their fault, but teachers have always encouraged us to read, and then when you would find someone who reads, they'd be like, look at that child, look at her reading, she's just great, she's going to be so smart. I know, because I encountered it. I used to get praised for reading all the time in English at my high school, and it did make me a bit up myself about it. And I'm glad that I've kind of snapped out of it, because honestly, it's a very asshole thing to do, to be like, oh, well, you know, you haven't read the books, you don't have the knowledge that I do, I'm obviously more intelligent than you are because I've read the books. No, you're not. You're really just an asshole. Because I I know someone who boasts about reading books all the time. Whether they be mainly the classics. They would boast about reading the classics, and they would have no fucking clue what it is they're talking about. Like, say, like, Catcher in the Rye, ask what happens. They don't know. They're just sort of like, oh, well, you know, some people who read don't understand what they're reading. And I'm not saying that, because I don't read classics like The Catcher in the Rye or The Great Gatsby or Pride and Prejudice, because I know I won't understand it. I know I'm very comfortable reading young adult novels because I know that I'll understand them. I am not intelligent, I guess, enough to understand the classics, and I'm okay with that. I don't care, really. I don't want to read the classics. I'm fine. But again, a lot of people would use that as a way of... A lot of people who use this as a way of looking down on others, most of the time they don't even know what they're talking about. They don't even know what they're reading. And yet they feel like they have the right to look down on others because they've read the book, or they've read the manga, or they've basically done something that you haven't. And this trend of looking down on each other just from whatever medium they've been introduced into the fandom in, it's pathetic, and it's catty, and it's an asshole thing to do, and I don't understand. It's been a theme since the dawn of time, since the dawn of fandom. People fight for that ultimate crown of the true fan, and where I used to be one of the contenders in that game, I used to be a very fierce contender in that game. I used to... We'll get into that when I talk about my obsession with the Hunger Games. For now, let's just say I was also someone who used to do this. And it would start these bullshit arguments where people would start going like, oh, well, you know, I read the books, and I read them in 2008, so I'm better than you because you read them in 2012. Or you watched that? Well, I've read the manga, I've read all of the volumes, and I know everything that's going to happen. I bet you don't. And it's like... It turns into these ugly arguments that are really unnecessary, and fandom is supposed to be about entertainment. It's supposed to be about meeting people who like the same thing as you. It's supposed to be about getting along with people who also enjoy the same stuff. You can share ideas, share fan art, share fan fiction. Get along with this community of people who all enjoy the same thing. It's not about pitting everyone against each other to find that ultimate fan, because anyone who does that, it's kind of pathetic, to be honest, as I've said. It's just, why is it needed? Why do you want to do that? Well, I do know why people want to do that. They want to be labelled the ultimate fan. They want to be known as the ultimate fan. They want to prove to everyone who may doubt them. They want to prove, in case there's any shadow of a doubt, that they are the ultimate fan. They are the one. They are like the chosen one, the ultimate fan. No one loves it more than them. What they do with this title, I don't know. But it's there, and for some reason people want it, and it turns them into petty, pathetic assholes. Especially to people in the fandom who didn't come in at the start, or haven't read the book / manga, or are just basically, they haven't done something that they've done first, that the other people have done first, or the other people can do, like coming in at the start or reading books. And it's pathetic. I've said pathetic a lot, but even I will admit when I was doing it, it was pathetic. I was pathetic. I have no problem admitting that I was pathetic as hell. And I just hope it stops. It won't stop. I don't know why I'm saying I hope it'll stop. It won't. It won't stop. So yeah, that's just something that I don't like in fandom, and I never have, and I never will, and just, I don't know, how can fandom, something that gives people such joy, can also bring such misery? I don't understand. It's like you get ultimate joy, but you also get ultimate misery. There's always something, but hey, that gives me material for my videos, so I shouldn't complain, probably. So that's it, guys. That's what I wanted to talk about for this episode. Do you have any video ideas? Comment below. I'm taking note of everything that people are telling me to do. I'm working on all the videos that people are requesting from me. And if you have any ideas, if you want to comment what you think of this, or if you think of of people telling you that you're not a fan of something, tell me what you think. Like, comment, share, follow social media and blah if you want. Don't if you don't want to. Don't want to if you don't want to. And I'll see you next week with my next video. And college starts again. Where did summer go? I don't fucking know. So I'll see you next week, guys. And remember, I met fucking Sylvester McCoy, and I'm putting these pictures here of him and Sophie Aldred just to prove. It was amazing, okay? It was an amazing experience, alright? And I've never fangirled as much in my life.